So as we begin our 2-week fire break, I'd like to join my colleagues in paying tribute to all the key workers for everything they do, to thank the NHS staff fighting this virus, but also to the teachers and support staff bending over backwards to keep our children safe in school. Thanks to the people keeping food in our bellies and light and warmth in our homes. But thanks also to you, because this isn't an easy time for any of us. And every single time you act to protect one another, the end gets a little bit closer. And I hope that you and your family are safe and well, and that you've got everything you need to get through this. Yesterday, I tried to explain to my sons what this meeting was. They came to last year's conferences in Newport and Swansea, and I was trying to remind them of the sorts of things we did and what it was for. And it hit me that it feels like decades ago. Back in the day, when I could leave Newport whenever I wanted, jump on a train without a second thought to go on a date, or catch a bus up the road to visit my mum in Cwmbran, when I could give her or my dad or my niece or my nephew a cwtch without putting them at risk, when I could go down the pub with my friends, have a Trevor Nelson and listen to some cracking live music, or hit the fields for a weekend of dancing, song and good ideas. During this massive upheaval, I know we've all been thinking of the things we want to go back to and the things we don't. And the things I want to get back to most are love and connection, creativity and the arts. And the things I want to change: rising rates of child poverty in one of the richest countries in the world, with some areas in Wales, including the area I grew up in, having more than 40% of children in child poverty before the pandemic. Politicians still dragging their feet on climate change as the water seeps through their front door, through their constituencies' front door, having ignored for decades all the signs that this was coming. Women still being killed by their partners or ex-partners, with rates rising before the pandemic and rising more sharply still during the first lockdown. And if you're listening and you feel unsafe at home, please know that you can leave to find safety and you will be believed. None of us knew the world would change so much or so rapidly, but it did. And in the Senedd elections next year, we will get to choose how to rebuild it. Now, being involved with the Green Party, I've heard one word come up many times, and that word is radical. Whether or not it's a compliment depends on the person saying it, but when it is a compliment, it sounds a little something like this: the Green Party has a bold and radical vision, radical policies, or radical ideas. And I love and respect the people that say this, but I reckon they're wrong. Because the truth is, I've never seen the Green Party as radical. It's not radical to want to breathe air that isn't poisoning you. It's not radical to want your daughter to be paid as well as your sons. It's not radical to listen to scientists and protect this planet, the only planet that we are ever going to stand on. And it sure as hell isn't radical to want every hungry child in the UK to be fed. That, my friends, is common sense. And we'll do whatever it takes to achieve those aims. But I'm not going to position them as radical, because fighting inequality, feeding hungry children, and standing for what you stand on should be normal. Didn't join the party. I'm not here because the Green Party is radical. I'm here because we stand for what is right. And doing that, standing up for what is right in a political landscape that cares more about winning than it does about the people they represent, that takes courage, that takes determination, and that takes stubbornness, which thankfully Greens have in spades. Another thing I hear a lot is this idea that in an ideal world, people would feel able to vote Green, but they just need to keep the bad guys out. let's think about that. What is an ideal world? In an ideal world, the economy would work for people and planet and not the other way around. Our rivers and our air is clean, are clean. Politicians say our voices matter and they actually mean it. And the system delivers the representatives that we vote for. And our independent nation is safe from Westminster power grabs, no longer dictated to by a neighbouring country with more than 13 times the MPs. But you don't get that ideal world without voting for the party offering it. When you hold your nose and vote for the slightly better of two bad choices, you get what we've got now. A revolving door of faceless, unrelatable, pound shop politicians who ignore the science, ignore the people, and act in their own self-interest, again and again and again. The only wasted vote is a vote you don't believe in, because a better Wales is possible, and that ideal world is within our grasp. It's a Wales where nobody chooses between food or warmth. A Wales that is leading the way on the climate emergency. And it's a Wales truly fit for future generations. You just have to stand up and take it. And in May, you'll have the opportunity to help us do exactly that. Diolch yn fawr.